What's up, guys? So before I do these videos, I usually write down a bunch of notes about what happened during the game, different stat lines, different talking points. But for this one, I'm not going to do it. The only thing that matters is the final score of 40-14. The Jaguars with a lot on the line. Let's be real. I mean, the Jaguars defeated the Lions, the Titans already got demolished by the Eagles. So we were looking at a situation where if the Jaguars could take care of business up north, they could go into the Titans game next week with a shot that winning that game would bring us within one game of the lead in the AFC South. So we had everything to play for, and the Jaguars threw out an absolute stinker. And this was an all-time bad game. It starts with the defense. Really, the defense is the whole story. It's hard for me to be down on the offense because when you look at the defense let up a score every single time they were on the field. Every single time. This was an all-time terrible defensive performance, and it was agonizing, especially the way the Lions were driving the ball. I mean, it wasn't like they were getting like 65-yard touchdown bombs and they're beating somebody over the top. They were slow, they were methodical, they were picking up first downs, they were, driving down the field, constantly getting to our side of the 50. And every single time they scored, every single time the offense went out there and got the ball back, they were down by more points. And it was really hard to get the offense into a rhythm because of that. And look, the Lions, nothing against them, man. They actually have a really, really good offense. They have an elite offense. I mean, if you gave up 21 points this game, fine. 24 points, that's fine. 28 points, maybe the threshold. But what you can't do is you can't allow the Lions to score the ball, is to score every time they touch the ball. I mean, come on. And really the only positive plays the defense had was generally when they would drop a pass here and there. The Jackson, the running back, had a few drops. Those were like the only highlights. The defense is terrible right now, and it should not be terrible. If you look at the moves the Jaguars made this offseason when it comes to free agency or through the draft, this defense should be set and ready. We should, on paper right now, we should be sitting here talking about, okay, what does this defense need? All we really need is another cornerback and Trayvon Walker to learn how to rush the passer. But right now we have questions all over the place. And really, I think it starts with Mike Caldwell. I place a lot of the blame on him because, look, it's one thing that if you don't have the personnel, but or it's one thing if this is a one-off thing where like maybe one rookie's regressing, but Trayvon Walker regressing, Devin Lloyd regressing, Chad Muma did not have a good game. Josh Allen, if every single player on the defense is regressing, that's a coaching issue. That's not just a thing where it's like, oh, they were good in September, but now they're not good. No, it doesn't work like that. Every single player is regressing. And I'm never the kind of guy that wants to fix things by just, firing somebody. Oh, fire Caldwell, boom, issue solved. I don't like to be like that, but I do think that Mike Caldwell might be in over his head. When you look back at this offseason, this should have been a spot where they hired in an experienced DC. I think Mike Caldwell could have succeeded under different circumstances, like say when Todd Bowles got promoted to head coach. Mike Caldwell be in there at DC. You only have a 10 to 15 to 20% roster turnover on a defense. That's a lot easier to handle. But when it comes to Mike Caldwell, he comes in here. They build basically a new defense for him. Brand new linebackers, a bunch of new pieces on the D line. They did a bunch of stuff to help solidify that unit or that defense. And it's like, you know what? This is yours. Go ahead and run with it. And he doesn't know what he's doing right now. He's being completely out schemed. The defense is not getting any better. This offseason should have been more about just tweaking some stuff, bringing probably more on the offense because we've been kind of neglecting the offense in a lot of ways. But no, we had to go in here this offseason and figure out how to fix the issues that are around on this defense that should have been already fixed. Patching up bad draft picks, patching up, bad free agent signings. And I look at the situation, and Trent Baalke's another guy in question. Like, I watched Aiden Hutchinson this weekend, and I'm seeing him put on a pass rush move against Walker Little that I've never seen any of our defensive ends do this year. I am done with drafting guys. We are not a good enough team to be able to scout based on potential. Look, I'm not gonna sit here and see a guy that builds nice cars and have him build my house. It's not gonna work that way. It should have been Aiden Hutchinson should have been the pick. We should not have drafted Trayvon Walker being like, oh, this guy has big arms. This guy's large. He's going to be a great pass rusher one day. No, not at number 1 overall. You take that shot in the second round, third round. I'm not taking a guy number 1 overall in the draft to do something I've never seen him do in college. Idiotic. I don't care what the traits are. It's so dumb. But hey, we're stuck with it, okay? Let's see if he can get better. I'm not giving up on Trayvon Walker. I'm just saying, man, stop drafting raw materials in your early first-round picks. Get guys that have done stuff before. Devin Lloyd regressing. Like it's just all over the place. This defensive scheme stinks right now. And this offseason, we need a full organizational audit on the defense. It's sad. It really is. And you Lions score on every single possession. I don't know. When it comes to this defense, I don't know what to do. When you look at it, should have hired a Jim Schwartz, the defensive coordinator that was under Doug Peterson during a Super Bowl run. Or how about a Vic Fangio? If you're going to, it's different. Doug Peterson hired Press Taylor as offensive coordinator. Never been offensive coordinator before. That's fine because he's under Doug Peterson. Right now, you have a guy and a defensive coordinator, Mike Caldwell, who just seems like he's in over his head right now, and just nothing's going for us. So that's really depressing. I mean, and then when you talk about the offense, I mean, the run game has not been there the last few weeks. Zay Jones, after having a monster game, dropped several passes, key passes. ETN had that fumble earlier on. Next thing you know, we're down 14-3 at the end of the first quarter, and the game was pretty much over. You could have ended it there because none of the Jaguar players wanted to play anymore. Christian Kirk had a good game, over 100 yards. Trevor Lawrence was fine. I mean, nothing. I don't look at this game and be like, Trevor should have played better. I mean, absolutely not. Honestly, but when you look at this game, it could have been a bigger L. It could have been a bigger L. The biggest L the Jaguars can have is a potential long-term injury to Trevor Lawrence that holds him out of the offseason and probably lingers into next year. Because you look at it, the Lions had Jamison Williams playing this game. He tore his ACL in a national championship game in January, and he's just now entering play in December. We all got super scared with Trevor Lawrence. I don't know how his knee is intact. Credit to him, and he went back in there and played pretty well. He was even running the ball a little bit. I mean, that's heart. Trevor Lawrence has heart. I don't know how many of these other players have heart. I don't know, man. It's pathetic. And the Jaguars right now have the second highest paid defense in the NFL. And this is what we're putting out there. Absolutely not, man. We got to figure out what to do on the defensive side. If Mike Caldwell, if we're going to retain him, bring in, like I said, Jim Schwartz right now is I think that's his name. He used to be a head coach for the Lions. He's like a senior analyst, I think, for the Titans right now. Like he needs help. Mike Caldwell needs help. And, and the thing about DC is like, I don't want to go and just fire a guy right away. However, I don't want to sit here and if he's not it, I say this all the time, you either want a guy to be really good or really bad, because if he's in the middle, you wind up wasting too much time on him and then you just fire him too late. Mike Caldwell is not it, and right now he's looking like he's really bad. We might just have to cut bait with him and go ahead and say, okay, this guy isn't it. We had to go to the solution. And there's just a lot of stuff wrong with the Jaguars right now. Trent Baalke, do we need to go back into the fire Baalke chance? I mean, just the roster right now and what he did in the draft. I don't know, man. I mean, drafted Walker Little in the second round last year, and he just looks like a bum. I don't know, man. Just a lot of bad stuff going on. And look, like, and last week the defense got bailed out. The Ravens missed several passes, dropped several passes. I even put this out on Twitter. Look, like the Ravens, when you look at the Ravens' last 3 games, they have not been very good. So I'm going to call. They have not been very good. Against the Carolina Panthers, the Ravens scored 13 points on offense. Against the Jaguars, they scored 28 points on offense. And then against the Broncos yesterday, they scored 10 points. And This is bad right now, man. This is bad. I don't mean to rant or anything, but just a bad game overall, a bad step back. Playoff hopes. If we even had any playoff hopes, I mean, look, if you're a fan, you got to find stuff to be excited about. You can sit there and look forward to different things. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the whole playoff thing. That's out of the question now. Now we just got to hope we finish strong, finish without injury, and we can go into next year with a little bit more promise. But yeah, somber video today. Just a bad overall situation. So we'll see where we go from here. Next week is the Titans. That's a must win for the culture. Must win because I hate the Titans. Must win because the Titans dominate us. I mean, now we're playing for pride. You know what I mean? Get your tankathon. Get your tankathon rankings ready because we know how to soar up that chart. But with all that said, thanks for watching. Go Jags.